Spider-Man Far From Home has shown us a slew of villains for the film. But are they elementals? Are they actual characters? Or are they just simply illusions? Let's talk about it. What's up, universe, and welcome back to the web's first must-see comic and nerd culture show. Welcome to Comic Universe, guys. I'm your host, as always, C-Dubs, and I'm riding solo on this video. And guys, I just want to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. DPZ obviously covered the trailer the other day, and I just want to talk a little bit about what we all saw. And just because the internet is going crazy, it seems like. They're going apeshit. There's a lot of people claiming theories as their own when they're plain as day common sense, in my opinion. A lot of these YouTube channels are, oh, this is my theory, don't steal it. I mean, come on, man. Listen, anyone who's read a freaking comic book or knows the character of Fishbowl himself, Mysterio, knows that he's a special effects creator. He creates the most realistic special effects. Yes, some versions have had him dabble in magic, but let's be real. We all know that that's not really what he is. Come on. So we know that he deals mainly in special effects. So the big overall theory is, within the trailer, they show three, maybe four, different giant elemental type creatures. We have one that looks like he's made of fire or molten lava, if you will. We have one that's clearly made of rocks and sand and dirt. We clearly have one that's made of water, and the giant explosion-looking storm over the bridge in England is said to be maybe a wind storm. So there's several different theories, one of which is that these are characters known as the Elementals, which clearly speaks for itself. These are characters with the abilities of those elements, if you will. They can turn themselves into and create, mold, kind of bend, if you will, these type of powers. Okay, sure, that would be interesting. It might help if they're considered or called mutants. That would be fantastic. It would open up the floodgates and the doors. And that's one theory I have not heard, that if these guys are real and they're labeled as mutants instead of elementals, it would be really freaking cool. And that would be one way to introduce, in a simple, simplistic way to introduce mutants into the MCU, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, especially since this movie is, I believe, is already done. Yes, we could always have reshoots, but I believe it's already been packaged with a bow for the most part. At least the script has already been done, I know, and they would not have known, that they were going to get Fox. But, who knows? They could change it, and that would be really cool, and I would be on board with that. Some people are saying that Mysterio himself, and this is the one I lean towards, Mysterio himself is actually creating these illusions. Hence why he says, you want no part of this. Okay? Because he doesn't want anyone to interfere and realize that they're not real. Now, the one thing that does make me question this particular theory, okay, is generally with his illusions. Okay, sometimes they're fake, so they don't, essentially, even though sometimes they can be so real they hurt you, in the comic books from time to time, Spider-Man's spider sense does not work with them sometimes. Sometimes they're clearly illusions, so they don't go off. So he doesn't fear it, so nothing happens. Now, also within the movie, in the MCU, his spider sense has kind of been hinted at, with the raising of the hairs on the follicles on his arms and things like that. He has said that his eyes absorb so much information. It was said, I believe it was Civil War, and that's why he has such big wide eyes on his costume. And the sensories, that's why they help him focus better. And why he wore the goggles, it helped him focus better while he was in that mode, if you will. So, again, who knows if he even really has spider sense in the MCU. We just assume by these things that this is their version of it. And I'm kind of glad they don't slow down time like they did in the Raimi versions. But, again, it would be nice to know if he really does have spider sense. But, again, they show a scene where, in the trailer, where Spider-Man gets basically drenched from the water elemental or water illusion. If they were illusions, would they really produce water or heat Sure, sometimes he creates most realistic, so yes, you might get some water. I don't know. So there's kind of iffies on that as well, but the general consensus, and this is the one I find funny that they're taking credit for as their theory, when this is clearly the theory. Comes from comic book lore. This can't be your fan theory if this is comic book lore. Sorry, guys. Listen, let's call a spade a spade. It's not your theory. It's known. There's stories in the comic books where Mysterio himself he uses his, special effects to make himself look like the hero catching a bad Spider-Man, if you will. He's done it for profit. This is what he does. So don't be surprised if this is the route that it goes, and don't claim this theory for yours because it's not yours. Jeez, man, sometimes it just blows my mind how some of us out there just totally are just so quick to claim something as theirs, or bash people if you hear them talking about it, another person talking about it on the internet. Look, guys, that's what the internet is for. It's a public forum for all to enjoy, for all of us to enjoy. Stop trolling, okay? Now, the last thing that people are saying about these guys is they may be called elementals, but they're not going to be the actual elementals. They're going to be Sandman, Hydro Man, and Molten Man. Which, that would be really, really cool, but let's be honest here. Even though Hydro Man, not as much in the comic books, but Sandman is a real threat to any superhero. Like, he might be as dumb as a box of rocks, no pun intended. The dude is serious powerhouse, and if you have Mysterio fooling around in the background as well, unless he's like leading them like in somewhat of a Sinister Six type of team, and just like a Fearsome Four or something like that. But now we're getting to complications, and that I think would just dumb down the plot. I don't see that actually happening. I don't think those are going to be those characters, and if they are, it is pretty sad that they're just going to be written off like that. Molten Man, whatever. Hydro Man would be cool because we haven't actually seen him yet in film. But again, even though we've seen Sandman in live action, I would feel really bad for such a cool character to be just wasted alongside as some just mindless drone monster that Spider-Man has to defeat. Or worse yet, that if somehow Mysterio does turn out to be trying to be a hero, okay, but fails, and then we have this whole Eddie Brock situation where he is actually trying to be a hero using his special effects or magic, if maybe he really does have magic, but he's not able to stop these guys, but Spider-Man does, and it makes him look bad, and that's what makes him turn, because Spider-Man made him look bad. Let's be honest here. Batman doesn't look bad when he can't stop freaking Darkseid, even though he has stopped Darkseid before in the past. He doesn't look bad because he didn't stop Darkseid. Superman doesn't make him look bad, so I hope they don't go that route. That would be really, really sad if the MCU goes that route. I just hope, here's how it goes. The way that it is in the comic books where he puts on a show to make it look good for him, okay, make him look like a hero so he can reap the benefits. Let's hope that that's just the extent that it goes. And sure, they can make him look bad when Spider-Man proves him to be a phony. That's fine. But I don't want him to feel upstaged, and that's why he hates Spider-Man. Okay, it would just be absolutely sad that they're kind of stealing an Eddie Brock type of line, if you will. And just, you know what I mean, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just really frustrated. This all stemmed from me watching a video online where this guy straight up at the end of the video said, "Please don't steal this idea. It's mine. Give us some credit." And I'm not going to egg you out because I genuinely, for the most part, do like your show. Okay, but this show, part of this show that me and the guys came together to do, does stem from a little bit of frustration. I'm not trying to be malice in my intent, but there are a lot of us posers out there. There's a lot of nerd posers that just because it is popular now, that they jump on it. I'm telling you, you watch enough YouTube videos daily, and I can point them out. They're models, they're actors, and more power to them. They're doing their job. I'm not hating on them for that. But when I see them, like there was one, again, I'm sorry to turn this into a rant, but the guy doesn't know how to pronounce Darkseid's name, and sometimes that happens. Some people can't get it. But at the end of the day, he goes, "Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of the guy. I'm not one of these big hardcore comic book geeks." Then why are you talking about a comic book list of the best villains of all time? Like, why are you even talking about it? Why did they hire you to do this video when you don't know what you're talking about? You know what I mean? And again, taking a theory that is straight out of the comic books and claiming it for yourself. You have so many fans. You're just lying to your fans, and hopefully your fans, your subscribers, they're smart enough to realize that that's not your theory you came up with. That's theory from the comic book, and it's a theory that we all are sharing, okay? We all have that same exact thought, and that's probably what it is. So let's just stop. All right, guys? So that was the point of this video. Sorry I had to get that off my chest. It just really frustrates me when some of us, a few bad apples, it's really easy for a few bad apples to spoil it for the bunch. A few bad YouTube channels and a few bad nerd channels and a few bad nerds, wannabe comic book fans, can simply spoil it for all of us, can make us all look bad. That's just the way it goes, guys. And I'm not going to go down without a fight, and I know my team's got my back. And we just want to say, guys, those are the 3 theories to the actual overarching plot to Spider-Man Far From Home. What these villains are, who these villains are, these are the 3 most popular theories. Here on this video, I'm not going to sit here and just say I randomly come up with something and don't take it. I think it would be kind of cool if we have some sort of overarching plot that it turns out that they are mutants. That changed into the MCU would be cool because we know that would usher in the rest of the gang, the X-Men, if you will. So, yes, I feel I thought of that, but that's, if it happens, I'm not going to say, or if I hear someone else talking about it online, I'm not going to attack them, and I'm not going to say, you can't take my theory and add it to your list, if you will. So feel free if you think it's a good enough theory, guys. All right, guys, I'm out of here, guys. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to let me vent. And just so you guys are on the know, those are the biggest theories going on about Spider-Man Far From Home. If anything else drops, we'll let you guys know. And until next time, I'm C-Dubs, and I'll see you in the universe.